So, yesterday was the first day of the National Conservative Conference, and it's day two of that conference today. And if day two turns out like anything of day one, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, we've got some stuff. Oh boy, have we got some stuff to talk about. I am trying to find these links to these talks and sort of where they are going to be. They're going to come up online eventually, but I really want to go over, to be honest, some of these talks and discussions, because already we've had Miriam Cates talk about the importance of trying to solve the UK's birth problem. We've had Jacob Rees-Mogg outright admit voter manipulation with all these voter IDs, but admits that actually this whole gerrymandering tactic that they tried to try and limit people, or at least certain people, from voting actually backfired, because it turned out that the most people who would vote for them were the IDs, or at least didn't have those IDs to vote. And he openly admitted it. That's what that whole thing was. It was just voter suppression. And then you had at least the big keynote speech for yesterday. I think Gove is speaking today, or he might be speaking on Wednesday. I'm not 100% sure whether he is or not, but that's going to be interesting for certain. But in the meanwhile, you've had Suella Braverman speak, and oh boy, it was a direct pledge and plea to the party of, see me as the legitimate successor to Rishi Sunak. I am the legitimate successor. There is only me. There is only Braverman. And whether she will take this as, in the autumn when Sunak leaves the safety zone, we're going to have another vote of no confidence in him, and they're going to be replaced with me, so accept me now. Or when, Sunak eventually goes and loses, I am the person who will come in and will save the Tory party. That's what her pitch was yesterday. And it has angered so many Tory MPs. It is hilarious. But it just goes to show you that what we said at the weekend with Priti Patel sort of firing off these first couple of shots of what essentially is now becoming very, very quickly a Tory civil war. I think events are going to find themselves very quickly overtaking each other. And, I've said it before all this week, whenever we've talked about the likelihood of Sunak being replaced. Tory MPs might not want to, but in politics, sometimes momentum can just overtake people, and it's the way that things are happening. It's that, you drop a pebble from the top of the mountain, and it ends up becoming an avalanche as it just gains more and more momentum. And that's where it feels like that is gaining momentum. And it's just, at what point does the momentum just take over and become an avalanche which replaces Rishi Sunak? Because it certainly feels like we're going that way. It certainly does feel we are going in that direction. And Braverman today, well, at least yesterday, that was an absolute clear pitch of, I want to be the next Tory party leader. And it has angered a lot of Conservative MPs, crying out to her, like, what are you doing? This speech you have just given has completely undermined Sunak. And more importantly, remember what position Suella Braverman occupies. She is the Home Secretary. In order of sort of importance in UK positions, it is sort of Prime Minister at the top, and then it's sort of the two big secondary ones are Home Secretary or Chancellor of the Exchequer. And historically, like the next Prime Minister has always come from because they have occupied one of those two seats. Traditionally, in any case. So Braverman has made her play. She has angered a lot of Tory MPs by doing this. Said, you've just completely undermined Sunak. What have you done? If Sunak had a spine, if Sunak had actually had a spine, the first thing he would do is he would march Braverman into his office, sack her as Home Secretary, and then remove the whip from her. If he had a spine, that's what he would do. But as we all well know, Sunak does not have a spine in his body at all. He is a very weak Prime Minister, and he just keeps on getting weaker. And the thing is, we've said this before, if you're a Tory MP, regardless of what faction you come from, why should you be loyal to Sunak? Especially when he's continuously showing he's allowing stuff like this with this speech, and for them to get away with it. They have had no punishment, no reprimanding, no nothing. So the idea, as we'd heard a couple of weeks ago, that Sunak has brought discipline back into the party. Absolutely not. We are once again witnessing the unleashing of Tory anarchy. And it is a party that is going to tear itself apart. And you can already see that the seeds of this have been planted once again, not only by Braverman, like I say, Gove. If Braverman has done this speech and has had this type of reaction, then Gove's speech potentially later on today or tomorrow is going to probably receive just as about the same reaction. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there, but yeah. I think we can safely say we are in a Tory civil war, because there is no way, if Braverman can get away with making these types of comments, undermining Rishi Sunak in the way that she has done, then yeah, other MPs are going to be encouraged by this and start going after Sunak and other people, and they are now going to start coalescing around certain people like Braverman, or even potentially back around Boris Johnson. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, but none of this is good. None of this is good for the Tory party whatsoever. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, as always, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee. Called Buy Me Coffee. We can Buy Me Coffee. I think I've said that twice now. But there's the YouTube thank you button down below as well. And of course, the Pony Club as well. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, we'll see you all next time.